Hello everyone, my name is Aytaç and this is SITU, Silence in the Universe. Previously, we asked a question that echoes through time and stars. Where is everyone? This time, our eyes turn not to the stars, but to the soil, to a woman who tends life with her hands, and to a lesson buried in the earth. In our search for answers about distant civilizations, sometimes the most profound insights come from the most humble places. The wisdom of those who understand the fragile balance of life, not through equations and telescopes, but through the touch of soil and the patient observation of growth and decay. The morning air was thick with the scent of damp earth as Sadhana walked through her fields. Dew clung to the leaves, glistering under the first rays of sunlight. She ran her fingers through the rough bark of the neem tree, then knelt on to inspect her crops. That's when she saw it. Some of the plants, once she had tended so carefully, were dying. Their leaves, once green and full of promise, were curled and brown. She pressed her fingers into the soil, still moist. The roots were strong. She had done everything right. Then she looked up. A large tree at the edge of her land had grown taller this year. Its branches stretched wide, casting a long shadow over the field. The plants underneath had not gotten enough sunlight. Sadhana sighed, brushing the dust from her hands. The sun gives life, but the earth must hold it. A seed can have water, roots, and care. But if the light does not reach it, it will never grow. This wasn't the first time nature had taught her such lessons. Last season, another section of her field had failed. Plants withering despite abundant sunlight. The soil there had become depleted over years of continuous planting. All the light in the world couldn't help seedlings in exhausted earth. And the season before that, excessive rain had drowned perfectly healthy crops in fertile soil under the clear skies. Too much of a good thing becoming deadly. As she walked along the boundary of her field, she recalled her grandfather once say, "Farming isn't about commanding nature, it's about listening to her whispers." A harvest is a miracle of unseen forces aligning just right. She thought about how opposite conditions often cause the same results. Inadequate water or too much water, insufficient nutrients or toxic soil saturation, too little sun or scorching heat. Life thrives in the narrow spaces between extremes. She straightened up and gazed at the sky, her mind drifting beyond the clouds. Perhaps life needs certain conditions to flourish and certain rarer ones to emerge. Like right place in the galaxy, right type of star, right distance from their sun, right atmosphere, right soil. And perhaps civilizations are the same. Perhaps it's not enough to have intelligence. The universe must allow it to thrive. And maybe, in most places, the light never reaches. She remembered reading about the habitable zone, that narrow ring around stars where water could exist as liquid. Too close to the star, and it would boil away. Too far, and it would freeze solid. Earth hung in the delicate balance, a perfect distance from our sun. But she knew from her fields that a habitable zone was just the beginning. Within her farm, every plot had its own microclimate, areas prone to frost, sections that dried out first in summer, corners where the soil has richer or poorer. Life, and perhaps civilization, requires a harmony of unlikely conditions to emerge. And the universe is very hostile. Just as a farm has predators, parasites, and diseases, the universe has radiation, asteroids, supernovae, and perhaps threats we haven't even discovered yet. That evening, she sat by the fire, listening to the soft rustle of leaves and the distant hum of crickets. The stars blinked above her, silent, endless, unmovable. She remembered the year the fever came. It had started with one chicken, trembling, weak. By the next morning, 5 were gone. Then more, a disease she had never seen before. One that did not care how well she fed them, how strong they had once been. In just a week, the coop was nearly empty. But it had not killed them all. A few have survived, for no reason she had understand. And slowly, the flock had grown again. She had asked the veterinarian why some chickens survived. Genetic diversity, he had explained. In any population, there are differences we can't see. Sometimes these differences mean life or death when a new threat appears. This reminded her of the ancient seeds her grandmother had preserved, varieties that farmers had abandoned decades ago in favor of more productive modern crops. Never put all your trust in one type of seed, her grandmother had warned. The old varieties might yield less, but they carry resilience in their heritage. When blight comes for the modern crops, sometimes only the ancient ones survive. She looked up once more at the vast expanse above. Perhaps life across the cosmos follows similar patterns. And perhaps intelligence alone isn't enough. Like crops in shadow, civilizations may wither unseen. Some may be lost to things they never see coming. War, hunger, their own mistakes. Others might disappear to threats they do not even recognize. A single event, rare but devastating. She thought about the archaeological sites she had visited as a child. Great cities now reduced to ruins. Civilizations that had seemed unstoppable in their time, now remembered only through broken stones. Some had fallen to climate changes they couldn't predict, others to diseases they couldn't cure, and some to social collapses they couldn't prevent. What if this pattern repeated through the galaxy? What if the journey from simple life to spacefaring civilizations was filled with potential catastrophes? Filters that most species never pass through. Yet, some might endure. Not all the chickens had died. Not all the plants had withered. Even when civilizations fell, humans had survived and rebuilt. The stars remain silent. Cities crumble. Generations pass. Life does not always win, but it persists. Perhaps the silence in the universe was not evidence of emptiness, but of difficulty. The incredible challenge of passing through all the filters, surviving all the threats, and maintaining the delicate balance needed for a technological civilizations to emerge and endure. She let out a breath, watching it disappear in the cool night air. Maybe the great filter is not a wall, but a storm. Many will fail, but some will endure. And maybe beyond the silence, someone already has. Or perhaps we are the ones who made it through. We search the universe for answers, but maybe the answers are already here, buried in the soil, carried on the wind, written in the patterns of life itself. This episode offers a doorway, an introduction to the idea of great filters, the notion that between the spark of life and the emergence of spacefaring civilizations lie challenges that most may never overcome. But what if some of these filters operate on an even larger scale? What if they begin before life even has a chance? In the next episode, we will look at another possibility. What if many suns are not suitable for giving life? What if they destroy their own system? Let's discuss the rare sun hypothesis next. This is iTouch, this is SITU, and together we will explore the silence in the universe.